Introduction. In the boundless desert, Ning Jue gazed at her initial F.level talent and had the idea of giving up. However, the wheel of fate unexpectedly spun and he acquired 3 S.level talents. While others were still worried about food shortages, Ning Jue had already begun to recruit troops on a large scale, when. Chapter 1. F.level talent. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. Where is this? In order to save a bear child who ran a red light, Ning Jue's last memory on Earth was a dazzling bright light. Ning Jue, who was still on Earth in the previous second, appeared in a desert in the next second. Ding, welcome to the place of origin. Selected by the will of origin and teleported to the place of origin, you will fight as lords in the place of origin. In the place of origin, lords will have access to all treasures, wealth, and status they cannot imagine. Additionally, each lord will now receive a lord talent. When lords eliminate another lord, they can also obtain their lord talent whether fighting for oneself or for the distant home planet. Please feel free to compete for dominance. Lords, good luck to all lords. The voice of the will originating from the sky disappeared, and Ning Jue's body seemed to be infused with an energy. Ning Jue looked around, and apart from a lord's wooden house and a summoning gate, there were only 10 lords who came with them at the beginning. Looking further into the distance, there was only yellow sand scattered throughout the sky. This opening is not very impressive, Ning Jue pondered in her heart. There are no resources in the early stage, which is a bit unfriendly for those who need to develop themselves. Ning Jue lowered her head and glanced at her body, realizing that it had also become visualized. A screen appeared before her, recording all her information. Lord's name. Ning Jue, territory name. Unnamed, title of lord. None, lord strength. Black iron subordinate, lord talent. Rebellion, F.level, LV1, territory range. 100M x 100M x 100M, territory architecture. Lord's wooden house, black iron subordinate, summoning gate, black iron subordinate, race talent. None, talent. None, equipment. None, skill. None, crystal coin. 1, counterattack, F-level, LV1. Can randomly counter 1% of the members present in the 10,000 clan lord faction, with a minimum mandatory number of 1, cannot counter the highest leader, cannot counter non-spiritual creatures, and can be used 1/1 daily. Seeing her F.level lord talent, Ning Jue's heart was shattered. In online novels, the protagonist who saves people and travels through time will receive rewards for it. And while saving people and traveling on their own, they didn't gain anything, so the life of the bear child is also good. The F.level lord talent, according to the origin continent, is the highest S.level lord talent, and the lowest is the F.level lord talent. The lord's talent is not fixed, but can be improved through upgrades. The upgrade of lord's talent can be divided into 2 types. One is the upgrade from F level to S level, another option is LV1 to LV5. The 2 upgrade methods are not interchangeable. The upgrade method from F to S is through something called talent shards, while the upgrade from LV1 to LV5 is triggered by the corresponding experience upgrade obtained each time you use it. But now Ning Jue has no chance to upgrade, so she can only smile bitterly and shift her gaze. After understanding her attributes, Ning Jue shifted her gaze to the lord's wooden house. At the same time, a new screen appeared in front of Ning Jue. Building name. Lord's wooden house, building grade. Black iron lower level, architectural function. Providing a residence for the lord and also serving as the storage location for the core territorial decree. Territory upgrade. 100 units of wood, 100 units of stone, 100 units of metal, and 100 crystal coins. Seeing the upgrade materials of the lord's cabin, Ning Jue couldn't help but chuckle lightly. Upgrading is even more difficult in places where you can't even find water. It's really the beginning of the Heavenly Who game. At the beginning, it was already like this, and Ning Jue casually glanced at the summoning gate. Although Ning Jue wanted to mess it up a bit, the origin will still show Ning Jue the attributes of the summoning gate. Building name. Summoning gate, building grade. Black iron lower level, building function. At 10 o'clock every day, you can randomly summon 5 indigenous people from the place of origin in the summoning gate. Building upgrade. Lord's cabin upgraded to black iron intermediate, with 100 units of wood, 100 units of stone, 100 units of metal, and 100 crystals. 10 o'clock. Ning Jue glanced at the Lord's built-in clock. It was only 8 o'clock in the morning, and there were still 2 hours left to summon. Ning Jue pulled over a small chair and sat down as if it were rotten. "Let's sunbathe and get some calcium," she said. "Ding, Lords, please pay attention. Due to the large number of Lords entering the place of origin, the rules have been changed. 1. All Lords can display the positions of 4 adjacent Lords on the map and temporarily open a chat channel for 5 people. 2. The 5 adjacent Lords can be integrated through war or alliance. 3. For a period of 3 days, if the last 5 Lords cannot integrate on their own, they will all be wiped out. After 3 days, all Lords will enter a 7-day novice protection period. Turtle, such a ruthless origin of willpower. If you send any extra people, you can't send them back. You insist on killing them, Ning Jue muttered silently. As soon as the voice of the original will disappeared, Ning Jue felt the voice from the chat channel. "My Lord's talent is at the S. level. I am the first genius of the dog-headed human race. Don't wait for me to attack your territory one by one. Bring your people now and quickly surrender to my territory." Subsequently, it also included the coordinates of its own territory, although it is unknown what the first genius of the doghead race said. But in Ning Jue's eyes, it's all Chinese characters, probably the origin of willpower. Zhaozuiyuan.com. Whatever she was afraid of, Ning Jue, who was already preparing to ruin herself, happened to have a belligerent S-level Lord talent owner by her side. Ning Jue doesn't want to die, but when faced with an S-level talent owner, she is only an F-level talent Lord and is unlikely to be able to fight against an S-level talent owner. Ning Jue gritted her teeth and said, "Give it a try. You can't just lie at home and let someone kill you." Ning Jue opened the map and followed the coordinates given by the dog-headed man to find his territory. And the 10 Lords beside Ning Jue looked a bit nervous as they stood in front of them, but remained silent. One of them only dared to timidly shout, "Respected Lord." At this moment, Ning Jue realized that there were 10 leaders in front of her. "Don't be nervous, everyone. Just now I was just listening to the origin of the will. Let me introduce myself. I am your Lord, but of course, it may not be the case in a while. Now please tie up my hands and I will take you to a place, but don't panic, just listen to me." Ning Jue was afraid that too many people would reveal her flaws and did not dare to tell the leaders the plan. She simply instructed the leaders what they needed to do. Upon hearing Ning Jue's words, the 10 leaders looked at each other, but no one dared to step forward and take action. Until Ning Jue placed her arms in front of her chest, and then urged everyone in front of her again. It was the leader who had just come forward to remind him to move forward, muttering, "I have offended you, Lord." Then, using a rope that I didn't know where to find, he tied Ning Jue's hand together. Tie Ning Jue's hands together, and Ning Jue left the territory with the restless leaders, heading towards the desert. Chapter 2. Seeking Wealth Insurance. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Once the wind blows in the desert, yellow sand rushes towards her. Although the journey is only half an hour, the sandstorms in the sky also make Ning Jue suffer a lot. Before entering the territory of the dog-headed people, 3 small dog-headed people gathered around and chattered, but what Ning Jue heard was basically to stop him from advancing and inquire about his intentions. Ning Jue held her bound hands high, explaining her surrender. Among the 3 dog-headed men in front of her, one turned around and ran backwards, leaving the remaining 2 looking at Ning Jue. 2 or 3 minutes later. Amidst a crowd of small dog-headed people, a tall dog-headed person appeared. Ning Jue looked at the crowded dog-headed person and thought it should be the first genius in the dog-headed human race, the dog-headed person lord with S.level talent. Although he is almost one head taller than the other dog-headed people, in Ning Jue's eyes, he is still a short stature of less than 1.4 meters. Due to the fact that she had come to surrender, it was not appropriate to look at the lord of the dog-headed man from a condescending position. Ning Jue bent over and said in an extremely uncomfortable position, "Lord of the dog-headed man, hello, my name is Ning Jue." And the dog-headed lord looked at Ning Jue, who was bending down, and only said, "Weak human, your surrender is a clever choice." After throwing down a sentence, he instructed Ning Jue to follow and then turned around and left. So the leader of the dog-headed people walked ahead, with Ning Jue and his followers following behind, and 10 dog-headed people standing on either side. Before walking to the lord's wooden house, the dog-headed lord sat on the wooden throne that the lords had made for him. The wooden throne still had traces of rough workmanship. And the dog-head people who were originally on both sides of Ning Jue stood next to the dog-head lord. Afterwards, he began to vividly describe Ning Jue as the legendary first genius of the dog-headed human race. He also referred to the place of origin as the promised land of the dog-headed people, praising Ning Jue's intelligence in understanding current affairs. Behind her back, Ning Jue had already quietly used her talent to plot against a dog-headed man. Ding, Lord will automatically counter 1% when facing 10 dog-headed men. Ding, a dog-headed man has been instigated to rebel. Ding, counterattack experience +1. Ning Jue saw the leader of the dog-headed man, the third dog-headed man on the left, and her gaze slightly changed. You can also check his loyalty through the system yourself. Name: Azyali, race. Dog-head man, qualification. Bronze superior, lifestyle specialty. Mining, combat specialties. None, talent. None, skill. None, strength. Black iron intermediate, loyalty. 75. After watching the dog-headed man he had instigated, Ning Jue looked at the dog-headed man lord on the seat with a guilty expression. He was still boasting about his previous achievements, completely unaware that his subordinates had already been instigated by Ning Jue. Now, it seems that the advantage lies in me, Ning Jue muttered to herself before saying to the Lord of the Dog-Head, Lord of the Dog-Head, in order to show my loyalty, I am willing to offer my lord's order. Okay, your name is Ning Jue, right? I didn't expect you to be so sincere. After I recaptured the other 3 lords, I not only spared you from dying, but also greatly rewarded you. Thank you, Lord, Ning Jue said, muttering inwardly, I'll try to mess with you in a little while. Do you still have any of these things to consider? Immediately, Ning Jue revealed the location of her territory, and the leader of the dog-headed people pointed at 3 dog-headed people and went to collect the territory order. Ning Jue couldn't help but feel secretly happy as she watched the leader of the dog-headed person point at 3 dog-headed people from the right, which increased her chances of winning. At the same time, Ning Jue also loosened the rope on her wrist, deliberately letting the leader loosen it a bit to make it easier for her to break free. After listening to Lord Guda's ghost talk for 5 minutes, it was just when Lord Guda finally asked what Lord Ning Jue's talent was. Ning Jue suddenly broke free from the rope on her wrist and said, Azyali, it's up to you. Leaders, take these dog-headed people down for me. Azyali immediately pounced on the leader of the dog-head, who still wanted to resist. But as a newly entered Lord of the Origin, regardless of his previous strength, he is now a subordinate of Black Iron and is truly powerless against opponents of Black Iron's intermediate level. The remaining dog-head people still wanted to help their lord break free, but even if the people behind Ning Jue were momentarily stunned, they had enough reaction time to take down all the dog-head people one by one. From the beginning, Ning Jue's plan was to use the talent of counter-attack to create a difference in numbers. The only uncontrollable aspect of the plan is whether the dog-headed man who was instigated by Ning Jue will go to collect the Lord's order or stay in the territory. But here Ning Jue doesn't really care, because no matter what, when the difference in numbers is created, Ning Jue's chances of winning are far higher than those of the Doghead Lord. After all the Doghead people were tied up, the Doghead Lord was still shouting loudly. A despicable human with the ability to take on individual challenges. Asterisk hashtag UN% hashtag at UN% at UN at, if it weren't for the power of originating will, Ning Jue wouldn't understand what he was cursing, just feeling a bit noisy. But after understanding what he was cursing, Ning Jue also felt a bit annoyed. Command the subordinates to randomly find a piece of rag and stuff it into the mouth of the Lord Gutu, forcing him to shut up. Afterwards, he instructed Azuli to take his 3 subordinates and catch up with the 3 dog-headed people sent out by the previous dog-headed person lord. If they could be brought back, it would be best to find the Shuyuan www.zhaoshuyuan.com. If not, don't let them escape. Afterwards, Ning Jue sat on a simple chair and pondered, wondering how the Doghead Lord would solve the problem. I have also designed him for this personality. If I let him go, I might turn around and kill myself. If I don't let him go, I can't stay in the territory and waste food all the time. So, why don't we kill him? Ning Jue thought to herself. Although she didn't want to kill, after much thought, this method was still the most feasible. After careful consideration, Ning Jue's mind did not come up with a better way. Although she had originally surrendered to the people, she turned around and killed them. Her reputation was not very good, but heaven knows and earth knows, and Ning Jue can also comfort herself. Do whatever you say, and now without weapons, Ning Jue walked towards the Doghead Lord with the rope that had just bound her hands. The leader of the Guta people seemed to have guessed Ning Jue's thoughts, with a look of fear in his eyes and a constant woo-woo sound in his mouth, but this did not change Ning Jue's determination in the slightest. The rope was tied around the neck of the Doghead Lord, and Ning Jue exerted a strong force, pulling the rope straight. And the Doghead Lord had no other choice but to whimper and twist his body more frequently and crazily. After 3 minutes, the voice and body movements of the Doghead Lord gradually stopped. But Ning Jue still tugged at the rope with all her might, until she let go of it due to her own detachment. Ning Jue hurriedly pulled up the rope again, but only then did she release it when she found the word corpse displayed in the parentheses on the attribute panel. Ning Jue-chang breathed a sigh of relief. Although Ning Jue's plan and implementation were extremely decisive, she still felt some discomfort in her heart after killing someone for the first time. After taking a few deep breaths in silence, Ning Jue finally calmed down her emotions. Chapter 3, First S.Level Talent and Title. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Ding, Lord Ning Jue, the first to kill other lords with your own hands, will receive a reward from the Origin Will. The Origin Will special reward is +1 world fame, and the Lord's title is First Drop of Blood. Ding, the Lord's name and reward will be announced throughout the entire place of origin. Ding, Lord Ning Jue, the first to kill other lords with his own hands. Origin Will rewards world fame +1 and Lord title. First Drop of Blood. Ding, Lord Ning Jue, the first one to personally. Ding, Lord Ning Jue, the first one to personally. Ning Jue, who had killed a dog-headed person for the first time, did not expect to receive a reward from the Origin Will, secretly grateful that she did not let the people take over the task. After experiencing 2 surprising and joyful events, murder and the Origin Will reward, Ning Jue calmed down and looked at the body of the Doghead Lord. Ning Jue did not immediately check the usefulness of the title she had obtained. Thinking about the origin of willpower, the Lord's talent will drop after his death, and Ning Jue's hand approaches the body of the Doghead Lord. Ding, a corpse has been detected. Should we decompose it? Ning Jue didn't even think about it, so she chose to decompose it. Decomposed successfully. Obtained S.Level Lord Talent, ding, it has been detected that the Lord has obtained an S.level talent. Do you want to absorb it? Absorption, ding, congratulations to Lord Ning Jue for obtaining an S.level talent in Earth Star template. After absorbing S.level talents, Ning Jue opened her attribute panel and prepared to understand the effects of titles and S.level talents. Lord's name. Ning Jue, territory name. Unnamed, Lord title. First drop of blood. The first drop of blood, Lord and his followers, increases their comprehensive attributes by 5%. Lord strength. Black iron subordinate, Lord talent. Counterattack, F level, LV1, Earth Star template, S level, LV1, territory range. 100m x 100m x 100m, territory architecture. Lord's wooden house, black iron subordinate, summoning gate, black iron subordinate, race talent. None, talent. None, equipment. None, skill. None, crystal coin. 1, Earth Star template, S.level, LV1. The origin of the summoning using the summoning gate can be replaced with the character template of the leader's home planet. The probability of being unknown is 95%, the probability of being well-known is 5%, and the daily frequency is 5/5. What a fierce S.level talent. There are outstanding people and spirits on Earth, and China has an uninterrupted history of 5,000 years, with countless fierce generals and strategists, Ning Jue thought to herself. While sighing at the strength of her talent, Ning Jue also realized that this dog-headed person was not unjustly defeated by herself. The first point is that the summoning gate can only be used at 10 o'clock every day. Now Ning Jue has already killed him, but it's only 9:30 o'clock. At that time, the leader of the dog-head man was no different from the whiteboard. Secondly, what is the history of the dog-head people, or the race that was able to find the promised land? Myth. The third point is that the dog-headed person is to underestimate the enemy, and if he had ulterior motives, he calculated against the dog-headed person's lord. World-renowned, Ning Jue has not yet found its purpose and wants to wait until she understands before making other plans. Ning Jue here has just finished reading his newly acquired attributes, and Azulai has already returned with 3 leaders and 3 dog-headed people. Tie the 3 of them together with those dog-headed people, Ning Jue said directly when she saw Azulai return, and Ning Jue was also observing Azulai, only to find that Azulai looked at the dog-headed lord who had already become a corpse on the ground, with a cold and indifferent gaze, as if looking at a stranger. Only then did Ning Jue feel relieved. Confirmed the recruitment of the subordinates through rebellion, with no response to the previous lords. After confirming that there were no other matters, Ning Jue walked into the lord's wooden house of the dog-head lord and took down the most crucial lord order. Ding, does Lord Ning Jue plunder this lord's order? Yes, ding, obtain 1 lord's order. Ding, obtain a summoning gate bonus stone, ding, obtain 50 units of wood, ding, obtain 50 units of stone material, ding, obtain 50 units of metal, ding, get 1 crystal coin. At the moment when Ning Jue plundered the Lord's order, the Lord's wooden house and summoning gate disappeared instantly and turned into piles of basic materials at Ning Jue's feet. Ning Jue ordered the 9 captured dog-headed men, each carrying a portion of the basic materials, while Ning Jue's human leaders and Azulai were monitoring them around. And the seemingly important Lord's order, summoning gate bonus stone, crystal coins, and 3 other items were all placed close to Ning Jue's body. Ning Jue was a bit curious about the summoning gate bonus stone she had never seen before. Before putting it close to her, she even glanced at what it was. Item name. Summoning gate bonus stone, item function. Placed on the summoning gate, it can increase the number of daily summoners. Although the yellow sand was raging upon arrival, the sunshine was warm all the way back to the territory. If the weather in the desert in the morning is like a child with unpredictable weather, but it will also be like a quiet little girl. The half-hour journey is not only not as difficult as when it arrived, but also very simple. Seeing that it was already 10 o'clock, Ning Jue placed the summoning gate bonus stone on it. Ding, summoning gate bonus stone detected. Should it be placed? Placement, ding, summoning gate has a fixed daily summoning population of +5. Summoning, after Ning Jue uttered 2 words, the summoning gate in front of her emitted a strong light, and 11 people gradually walked out of the summoning gate. Ding, world fame 1, the number of summoners increased by 1 this time. Ding, the S.level talent Earth Star template takes effect. This time, 10 unknown minions are summoned, and 1 person is well known to everyone. Ding, Earth Star template experience +15. The usefulness of world fame turned out to be here, and Ning Jue didn't think much about it. There were even more joyful things that appeared. Is there a 5% chance that it will take effect? Ning Jue searched among the 10 people who appeared. Ning Jue's gaze swept over the 11 people, and their attribute panels appeared one by one. Name: Jiao Yongqing, race. Earthlings, qualification. Gold subordinate, lifestyle specialties. Collection, combat specialties. None, talent. None, skill. None, strength. Black iron subordinate, loyalty. 80, the first one is not, look for Shuyuan www.zhaoshuyuan.com. Ning Jue turned to the second one. Name: Fu Chenghui, race. Earthlings, qualification. Gold subordinate, lifestyle specialties. None, combat specialty. Blade and shield, talent. None, skill. None, strength. Black iron subordinate, loyalty. 80, Ning Jue didn't recognize each name, so she continued to read on. It wasn't until she saw the 7th one that Ning Jue found her familiar name. Name: Yuan Chengdu, race. Earthlings, qualification. Jade Superior, lifestyle specialties. None, combat specialties. Boring, long pole, boxing, horsemanship, training, commanding, command, talent. The body of Lei Zhu, skill. None, strength. Silver lower level, loyalty. 80, body of Thunder Ancestor. Can summon Thunder Ancestor and improve one's own strength in a short period of time. Ning Jue couldn't help but exclaim in surprise, the qualifications of the Jade Superior. According to the power level announced by the Will of Origin. Black iron, bronze, silver, gold, platinum, diamonds, jade, lower level gods, middle level gods, and upper level gods. Yuan Chengdu's qualifications are already comparable to some noble divine species. That is to say, among the Earthlings, those known to humans are likely to break through limitations and become heroes, and even gods. Chapter 4. Post-War Subordinates. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Ning Jue has determined that the upper limit of qualifications for ordinary humans on Earth Star is to reach the lower level of gold. The 11 people summoned, except for Yuan Chengdu, were 1 sword and shield soldier, 1 archer, and the rest were all living professions and non-professional leaders. 11 people all appeared, led by Yuan Chengdu, kneeling on 1 knee and saying in unison, "Respected Lord." "Let's all get up." Ning Jue first asked everyone to get up. Later, Ning Jue thought that she had not seen her original talent as a leader because she wanted to falsely surrender to the leader of the Dog-Head Man. She then took a look at her talent as a leader. Name: Yuan Ketung, race. Origins of the human race, qualification. Silver intermediate, lifestyle specialty. Carpentry, combat specialties. None, talent. None, skill. None, strength. Black iron intermediate, After seeing 10 people, Ning Jue roughly knew that the human talent in the place of origin was at the intermediate level of silver, 2 levels lower than that of Earthstar humans. Afterwards, Li Xingsheng, who had management skills, was discovered among the people of a place of origin. Let this person named Li Xingxing manage the collection team and construction team that Ning Jue has just divided. As for how Li Xingxing allocates two teams, it all depends on himself. After all, even if the Lord engages in internal strife for 3 days, he cannot go hungry or sleep on the sand. Afterwards, Yuan Qingdu led several soldiers from the Earth Star to form a combat team. After arranging everything, Azuli walked up to Ning Jue on one side. "Dear Lord, I think I can persuade those of the same kind to surrender. Okay, if you can make them submit to me, then I allow you to build your customary settlements within your territory." Upon hearing Azuli's words, Ning Jue's eyes lit up. After all, being kept as a prisoner and wasting food, killing Ning Jue was afraid of having a negative impact on Azuli. Furthermore, there are millions of races in the place of origin, and it is impossible for Ning Jue's territory to have only one human race. Sooner or later, different races will appear, allowing the people to adapt early, which is also not bad. The placement of the residence was over, and Ning Jue finally realized that there was new news on the chat channel. "Ning Jue, are you the Ning Jue who was just named by the origin will? Are you a human race? Ning Jue, I am willing to submit to you. Please come and rescue me. I am being besieged by 2 other lords." The first 2 sentences were sent at 9.30, when she had just killed the lord of the dog-head man. At that time, Ning Jue did not notice because she had not been idle. This will be arranged by Ning Jue, and everything she can think of happened to see the signal for help. Ning Jue saw the message sent by that person and felt that he might also be a Earthstar human race. Although Ning Jue didn't have much ability yet, he still wanted to save him if he could. "Chengdu, follow me on a trip." "I will comply." After reading the news, Ning Jue didn't hesitate and took Yuan Chengdu on this trip, following the position sent by the Lord. With the appearance of Yuan Chengdu, Ning Jue is indeed more confident. No matter what, it is impossible for another Lord with S.level talent to appear. A group of 4 people spent some time and arrived near the Lord's territory. Yuan Chengdu's strength far exceeded that of Ning Jue. Before Ning Jue could hear anything, Yuan Chengdu stopped Ning Jue, claiming to have heard the sound of weapons colliding in the distance. The group lowered their bodies and followed Yuan Chengdu's footsteps, gradually approaching the battlefield. Approaching Ning Jue through the system, she saw 3 races in the distance, namely the Origins, Dog-Head, and Elves. Both the human race and the dog-headed human race have 15 individuals, while the elf race seems to have only 13 lords due to their higher initial level than the ordinary race. How many dog-headed people have entered the place of origin? But what Ning Jue didn't know was that the selection of the place of origin follows a 0.1% selection probability for each race, but she can't resist the fact that many races have a large base, so there are also many selected ones. "Chengdu, if you were to go straight to those 2 lords and kill them, could you do it? Report to the Lord. If it's the Lord of the elf tribe, it may take some effort, but if it's the Lord of the dog-headed human tribe, Chengdu is confident enough." After gaining a rough understanding of the race and hearing Yuan Chengdu's answer, Ning Jue also gained confidence and, under the protection of Yuan Chengdu, marched towards the battlefield with dignity. The attacking doghead and elf lords saw someone breaking into the scene and ordered their subordinates to stop the attack. "You killed the first genius of our tribe." Ning Jue hasn't spoken yet, but the dog-headed lord spoke first. "What's wrong? Are you still helping him seek revenge?" Ning Jue, with the highest combat power on the field, naturally spoke tough and didn't want to be overwhelmed by that dog-headed man. "No, I want to thank you so that I can lead the dog-headed human race towards glory." The dog-headed lord even had a sickly fanaticism on his face while speaking. "These dog-headed people, can't they be a little humble?" Ning Jue muttered to herself for a moment, then called out to Yuan Chengdu to find Shuyuan www.zhaoshuyuan.com. "Chengdu, that dog-headed person lord has been handed over to you, and the body needs to be brought over to me." Yuan Chengdu received the order and immediately summoned the power of Lei Zhu. His whole body was surrounded by golden armor, which flickered with terrifying arcs. He opened his eyes, and the pupils had disappeared, replaced by light blue eyes. Only those who look directly at him can see the surging electric light in those eyes. At this moment, Yuan Qingdu's strength has rapidly increased from a silver subordinate to a gold subordinate, crossing a huge level. He held his weapon and rushed towards the Doghead Lord at an extremely fast speed, leaving a blue mark on the ground. With a speed that no one present could react to, Yuan Qingdu quickly killed the leader of the dog-headed man and brought his body back to Ning Jue's side. Looking at Yuan Qingdu's weapons, as they couldn't withstand the power of Yuan Qingdu and were already destroyed, Ning Jue thought to herself, how could such a brave general not have good weapons? In the future, with a professional blacksmith, she would definitely help him build an excellent weapon. With just one strike, Yuan Qingdu intimidated everyone present, causing the elven lords to panic and retreat. Ning Jue originally intended to use force to intimidate them and talk about the alliance, so the elf tribe would just follow suit. So Ning Jue's gaze came to the girl next to her. Earthlings. Earthlings. As you said when you asked for help, submit to me. Upon hearing this, the Earthstar girl nodded as if pounding garlic and said, I will submit now. Ding, Lord Jiang Rongshi has sent you a vassal application. Do you accept it? After confirming the accuracy, Ning Jue accepted the request. Chapter 5, Second S. Level Talent. You are listening at Novel Full. Audio. After accepting Jiang Rongshi's vassals, Ning Jue requested Jiang Rongshi to have her followers collect the Lord's orders and all resources of the Guda people's territory. After all, Ning Jue already had a Lord's order, so naturally she was not afraid of Jiang Rongshi hiding it privately. Moreover, Ning Jue also wanted to test whether Jiang Rongshi was harboring any ulterior motives. Ning Jue took a look and found that although it was an attack, both the dog-head man and the elves were working tirelessly, which did not cause any damage to Jiang Rongshi's followers. Some of them were only slightly injured. When Ning Jue arrived, Yuan Qingdu shattered all their fantasies with just one strike, so there was naturally nothing left to fight against. The elf race naturally left in a disheveled state, but the leaders of the dog-headed people were in a panic due to losing their lords and were mostly captured. For the dog-headed prisoners, Ning Jue only instructed Jiang Rongshi to place them here first, and wait for Azulai to come and see if they can be surrendered. During this period, Ning Jue and Jiang Rongshi had a natural conversation. In a strange place, they were about to carry out killings from the beginning, and being able to find people from the same planet was also a kind of comfort. Although Ning Jue did not reveal any talents to Jiang Rongshi, she could check Jiang Rongshi's talents. This little girl has good luck and is an A-level Lord talent. The talent is called Daifengshu, salad of assorted fresh vegetables. Its specific function is to increase the growth speed of plants and also increase the yield. In a desert, although this talent is A-level, to some extent, it is enough to rival some S-level talents. The good news now is that the problem of food shortage in the desert has finally been solved by Ning Jue. Ning Jue and Jiang Rongshi reached an agreement that each person would provide half of the seeds, and Jiang Rongshi would be responsible for planting. Ning Jue would provide protection for Jiang Rongshi and his people from any form of attack. In the end, they would receive 37% of the grain, with Ning Jue receiving 7 and Jiang Rongshi receiving 3. After saying so much, Ning Jue always felt like she had forgotten something. With a tap of her brain, she realized that she still had a lord's body untouched. Remembering it, Yuan Qingdu was asked to bring it to him, while Yuan Qingdu had been keeping the sword and shield soldiers guarding the body. The body was carried all the way to Ning Jue's side, and from a distance, Ning Jue kept staring at the body, thinking with a smile in her heart, guess what other surprises this cute dog-headed person can give me. Ding, a corpse has been detected. Should we decompose it? Decomposed successfully. Obtained S-level Lord talent, crouching trough. What is the situation with these dog-headed people? Is this place of origin really their promised land? How come both of them are S-level talents? Ning Jue was a bit puzzled, but still made a smiling decision. As long as she encountered the dog-headed man in the future, she would rather kill him by mistake and never let him go. Ding, it has been detected that the Lord has obtained an S-level talent. Do you want to absorb it? Absorption, ding, congratulations to Lord Ning Jue for obtaining S-level talent and living rewards. The name of the Lord's talent this time is a bit hard to understand. Ning Jue didn't guess what type of talent it was, so he didn't make too much speculation and just looked at it from the attributes. Lord's name. Ning Jue, territory name. Unnamed, Lord title. First drop of blood, Lord strength. Black iron subordinate, Lord's talent. Reverse, F level, LV1, Earth Star template, S level, LV1, live reward, S level, LV1. Territory range. 100M times 100M times 100M, territory architecture. Lord's wooden house, black iron subordinate, summoning gate, black iron subordinate, race talent. None, talent. None, equipment. None, skill. None, crystal coin. 2, live reward, S-level, LV1. Each time the summoning gate is opened, the summoned leader will randomly carry a treasure chest with the following levels and probabilities. Black iron, 62.9%, bronze, 10%, silver, 7%, gold, 5%, platinum, 1%, diamond, 0.7%, jade, 0.5%, king, 0.1%, glory, 0.07%, black radiance, 0.03%, and gold radiance, 0.01%, with a daily frequency of 5/5. Looking at this explosive rate, Ning Jue was also quite speechless. As someone with an F-level talent at the beginning, don't dream of getting a low probability good treasure chest. Just give some black iron every day, and Ning Jue would already be very happy. Not to mention anything else, Ning Jue now has 2 S-level talents. At least anyone would be afraid to speak them out, although Ning Jue cannot foolishly say them. After chatting with Jiang Rongxi for a while, his followers returned. Seeing that Jiang Rongxi's followers not only had wood, stone, and metal, but also some strange things. Looking at what was placed on a table, there were about 100 units of staple food, meat, and some plant seeds. In terms of food, 1 unit of food is enough for a black iron level person to eat for 4 days, like when Yuan Qingdu arrives at Baiyin, 1 unit will be eaten in 3 days. Ning Jue was wondering if something strange had been opened in the first day's treasure chest of the Dog-Head Lord, with no combat power at all. Ning Jue shared half of the food and seeds with each person. She went to Shuyuan www.zhaoshuyuan.com, but the seeds were still placed with Jiang Rongxi and she was asked not to plant them now, but to wait until the end of these 3 days before planting. If Ning Jue calculates, 50 units will definitely be enough for her own people to eat for 3 days. Although he was a vassal, Ning Jue was not prepared to crush Jiang Rongxi, as this was also the first fellow villager he had encountered. As time approached noon, Ning Jue asked Jiang Rongxi's followers to help her carry all her belongings and prepare to return to her territory. With these foods, 3 days should be easily supported. Ning Jue instructed Jiang Rongxi to keep in touch with the lord of the elf tribe, hoping to solve the problem through the alliance. The elf lord has been disagreeing. Tomorrow afternoon at 2 p.m., Ning Jue will launch an attack on the elf tribe. Returning to my own territory, for houses have been erected, temporarily enough for everyone to live in. Although the collection team also collected a lot of things, it was definitely not as delicious as the noodles and meat brought back by Ning Jue. Ning Jue ordered everyone to have a full meal together at noon. Ning Jue and the others sat on a long table, with Ning Jue sitting on the main seat and the rest on either side. Seeing that everyone had finished eating, Ning Jue stood up and said to them, I have not formally introduced myself yet. My name is Ning Jue, and I am your lord. I offer you your loyalty and will bestow upon you what you deserve. Everyone stood up solemnly upon hearing the Lord's words and shouted in unison, "Obey the Lord's orders." Ning Jue, who had little experience in public speaking before, did not stir up the emotions of the group, but she still tried her best to make her leaders remember her. After everyone finished eating, Azuli and his henchmen were sent to surrender, while the rest continued to expand their territory step by step. Chapter 6. Rewards for Being Alive. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. The next day, Ning Jue woke up at 8 o'clock in the morning, but it took him 2 hours to summon a new leader. So Ning Jue helped the lords build houses together, while also building closer relationships with them. In a hurry, 2 hours passed, and both human leaders and dog-headed people saw an average increase of 5 points in loyalty. Ning Jue finally let go of her worries. After all, her initial behavior had caused too much unease among the leaders. Yesterday's noon speech restored the loyalty of the leaders, but it still needs to be further consolidated. Ning Jue walked up to the summoning gate and placed the second summoning gate bonus stone on it. Summoning, ding, world fame 1, the number of summoners increased by 1 this time. Ding, the S.level talent Earth Star template is in effect. This time, 16 unknown minions are summoned, and no one is well-known. Ding, Earth Star template experience plus 16. Unfortunately, none of them are well-known. Ning Jue was a bit disappointed. The summoning door in front of me walked out with 12 men and 4 women. There are more professions summoned this time, including a tailor, a cook, 2 swordsmen, 2 archers, and 1 marksman. Everyone stood in front of Ning Jue and knelt on one knee, "Respected Lord. Let's all get up." Ning Jue helped the people in front of her forward, and everyone also stood up. Ning Jue introduced herself and the living gift was also handed over by the tailor with both hands. Ning Jue asked Yuan Chengdu to reach out and take over, and then he first arranged for everyone. For combat-related professions, Ning Jue will first be placed under the management of Yuan Chengdu. As for the remaining life-related professions and non-career leaders, Ning Jue will be handed over to Li Xingxing for management. Then Ning Jue took the treasure chest from Yuan Chengdu's hand and placed it on the table where everyone was eating. Ning Jue clasped her hands together and first bowed, hoping to have a deity to bring her some good luck. Afterwards, Ning Jue opened the treasure chest. Ding, the gift of S.level talent alive is effective. Ding, open the golden treasure chest. Ding, a living gift, experience plus 900, ding, obtain the gold intermediate qualification for a 100-soldier team. Woohoo, a golden treasure chest. Opening the golden treasure chest, the summoning door flickered with light, and 100 people neatly emerged from the squadron. These 100 people, dressed neatly in armor, have different weapons due to different types of troops. As the soldiers came out, Ning Jue looked at the attribute panel of one of the soldiers. Name: Lu Guanghe, race. Origins of the human race, qualification. Gold intermediate, lifestyle specialties. None, combat specialties. Bows and arrows, short swords, talent. None, skill. None, strength. Bronze intermediate. After everyone stood in line, they saluted Ning Jue and said in unison, "Hello Lord. My name is Ning Jue, and I am your lord." Ning Jue turned around and whispered to Yuan Chengdu, "Chengdu, what do you think of these soldiers?" "The orders and prohibitions are good soldiers." Yuan Chengdu's eyes flickered with light. "What if you were to take charge?" Ning Jue looked at Yuan Chengdu and asked. Yuan Chengdu quickly knelt down and said, "Thank you Lord." Chengdu will not disappoint the Lord's trust. Ding, Yuan Chengdu loyalty plus 10, currently at 90. Ning Jue saw their bronze intermediate strength and had more confidence in forcing elves to submit in the afternoon. Whether it was through military conquest or oppression and submission, Ning Jue, with these 100 people, believed himself to be foolproof, and the elf lord had no other possibility. Ning Jue turned around and faced the 100 people. Let's all get up and meet your general next. Taking advantage of Yuan Qingdu's training to his soldiers, Ning Jue opened the attribute panel to study his lord talent, why it increased by 900 points at once. Ning Jue started researching the attribute panel. Lord's name. Ning Jue, territory name. Unnamed, lord title. First drop of blood, lord strength. Black iron subordinate, lord's talent. Rebellion, F level, LV1, 10/1, Earth Star Template, S level, LV1, 32/10000000, Live Reward, S level, LV1, 900/10000000. Territory Range. 100m x 100m x 100m, Territory Architecture. Lord's Wooden House, Black Iron Subordinate, Summoning Gate, Black Iron Subordinate, Race Talent. None, Talent. None, Equipment. None, Skill. None, Crystal Coin. 3. Looking at the panel, Counterattack as an F.level talent upgrade only requires 10 points of experience, while Earth Star Template and Living Reward as S.level talents. Ning Jue was amazed by the upgrade experience. Looking at the 7 zeros behind her, Ning Jue felt a bit dizzy. When did she need to upgrade, and it was hard to believe what kind of astronomical numbers she had to go through to upgrade from LV.1 to LV.2 and LV5. The Earth Star Template is fine, but as the number of summoning population gradually increases, it naturally provides more and more experience. However, the reward for living relies solely on luck, and Ning Jue is aware of her non-chieftain physique. As for the upgrade of the reward for living, she inevitably has some thoughts of a long way to go. It was noon, and like yesterday, Ning Jue still had lunch with all the residents. Zhaoshuyuan.com. However, the population of the territory has now reached 162 people, 137 humans and 25 dog-headed people, and the territory has prepared 9 tables that are enough for 20 people to eat before these people sit down. Although knowing that the weather in the desert is unpredictable, it has been cloudy since Ning Jue woke up today, with occasional sand tornadoes. Although Ning Jue did not suffer much damage within her territory, it still greatly affected her mentality. Unexpectedly, Ning Jue only had lunch time, and the wind and sand blew away. The golden sun shone through the clouds, making Ning Jue feel particularly comfortable. Ning Jue also asked Jiang Rongxi to lead his 20 subordinates to assist in the battle, on the one hand, to use more troops and increase the pressure on the Elf Lord. On the other hand, it also demonstrates to Jiang Rongxi that Ning Jue's own strength is no longer something that Jiang Rongxi can shake, let alone that she is just an auxiliary talent lord. Ning Jue arrived at the territory of the elf tribe, and the elves gathered all their leaders to fight, with only 16 people. Surrender, submit to me, at least you'll have a chance to survive, won't you? At this point, Ning Jue still hoped to persuade the elf lord to surrender, but the elf lord was not prepared to surrender. It's impossible to surrender, but I allow you to submit to me, otherwise we won't talk. Speaking these words, Ning Jue's face turned awkward. Look at the more than 100 soldiers behind me. Even if I promise you, why don't you guess if they can agree? Upon hearing Ning Jue's words, the elf lord appeared disdainful. I have long had treasures bestowed upon me by my ancestors. As long as the novice period is over, I can contact the elf tribe in my place of origin. If I die, the person who killed me will also be known by the elf tribe. Chapter 7, 3rd S.Level Talent. You are listening at novelfull.audio. After speaking, the elf lord paused and said provocatively, "So, do you dare to touch me?" Upon hearing the words of the elf lord, Ning Jue harbored resentment in her heart and said, "Ancestor of the human race, when will you see this poor guy with F.level talent at the beginning?" Ning Jue now has 2 S.level talents. If she were really oppressed by a weak elf lord Strabismus, Ning Jue would not be able to swallow this breath. However, if she were to confront him, she would end up dying together. Jiang Rongshi was a bit panicked when he heard the words of the elf lord. It was already a station, and Jiang Rongshi himself had no idea. Lord Ning Jue. The elf lord will not surrender, nor will he surrender himself. Tomorrow, he will be killed by the origin will. Although the consequences of Ning Jue killing the elf lord are very serious, at least there is still a future to speak of. Helpless Ning Jue pondered for a long time, but finally sighed and said, "Chengdu, let's start." Yuan Chengdu did not use his talent this time, but simply led 100 soldiers behind him to march forward step by step in the army formation. Every time Yuan Chengdu made further progress, the elf lord also insincerely took a step back. Yuan Chengdu did not include the extra soldiers in the team of 100, but instead asked them to stay in place to protect Ning Jue. Ding, the lord will automatically counter 1% when facing 16 elves. Ding, an elf has been rebelled. Ding, counterattack experience +1. In an instant, an elf left the lord's side and a few flashed to Ning Jue's side. "Lord, my lord, get up." Morin Noel stood quietly behind Ning Jue, motionless. Ning Jue also suddenly thought of instigating a rebellion, adhering to the idea of not using it for nothing and adding experience when used, so Ning Jue directly used the rebellion. Looking at the elf approaching, Ning Jue glanced at her attributes and also confirmed the level of the elf tribe. Name: Maureen Noel, race. Elf, qualification. Platinum subordinate, lifestyle specialties. None, combat specialties. Assassination, pursuit, concealment, talent. None, skill. None, strength. Black iron intermediate, loyalty. 75. Looking at the talent of Moulin Noel's platinum subordinates, Ning Jue can be certain why she can only summon 3 per day, and her talent is indeed commendable. And now Ning Jue is also very certain that in the face of a square formation composed of 100 soldiers, it is extremely difficult to stir up any waves. Chengdu, priority should be given to killing the opposing lords. The rest of the people, if obstructed, will be killed. If not obstructed, they will be kept and surrendered. Upon receiving instructions, Yuan Chengdu instructed the blade and shield soldiers to accelerate and quickly charge forward, causing them to entangle with the elves. The archer is ready directly, and once the elf lord breaks through and escapes, he will shoot directly with his bow. The battle between the two sides was not long, and they had a real encounter. The battle between the two sides ended in just 3 to 5 minutes. When Yuan Chengdu killed the Lord of the Elves, Ning Jue was also reminded by the will of origin. Ding, the elf tribe has already become angry with you. Ding, friendship with the elf clan. 100. Ding, Lord Ning Jue has been cursed by the elves. Ding, Lord Ning Jue's strength has decreased by 50% at night. Ding, Lord Ning Jue is more susceptible to attacks from the elf tribe. After hearing the news about the origin of willpower, Ning Jue felt a sense of helplessness in her heart. I wanted to save his life, but he wanted to die himself. Now it's causing me to be cursed. It's really unlucky. At the beginning, Ning Jue had already anticipated this outcome, and even thought of a worse one. For the revenge of the elf tribe, Ning Jue felt that it was not a case of 10 deaths without life. The situation on the battlefield has also come to an end. Yuan Chengdu and his people have dismantled everything, plundered all resources, and even 5 captured elves. After Ning Jue prepared, he slowly let Morin Noel surrender. Watching Ning Jue's side end the battle like destruction, Jiang Rongshi spoke to her with a complex expression. Lord Ning, is your initial lord talent also S.level? I have already surrendered to you, so you should be able to protect my safety in the future. Is he so fierce? Can he be mistaken for an S.level initial talent? Ning Jue thought to herself, but she was joking. I mentioned in a book before that women's misfortunes stem from curiosity about men. As for the issue of protecting you, I said I will definitely do it. Upon hearing Ning Jue's words, Jiang Rongxi blushed and immediately regained his normal color. Lord Ning, can I take the people back to the territory? He said, although it is difficult to grow crops in the desert, grain can already be grown. Ning Jue entrusted the task to Jiang Rongxi and then nodded casually, indicating that Jiang Rongxi could leave. 5 lords, 1 submitted to me, and the rest were all eliminated. As long as you patiently wait for tomorrow to pass, the natural mission will end, and then you will safely enter the novice protection period and begin to develop. After Jiang Rongxi left, Yuan Chengdu presented the body of the elf lord. Ding, a corpse has been detected. Should we decompose it? Decomposed successfully. Ding, it has been detected that the lord has obtained an S.level talent. Do you want to absorb it? Absorption, ding, congratulations to Lord Ning Jue on obtaining an S.level talent at zhaoshuyuan.com, with a 100% chance of success. The third S.level talent, if I thought I was unlucky at the beginning, I would retract it. Excited, Ning Jue quickly opened the panel and didn't forget to let everyone start returning to their territory. Lord's name. Ning Jue, territory name. Unnamed, Lord title. First drop of blood, Lord strength. Black iron subordinate, Lord's talent. Counterattack, F level, LV1, Earth Star template, S level, LV1, live reward, S level, LV1, burst rate 100%, S level, LV.1. Territory range. 100m x 100m x 100m, territory architecture. Lord's wooden house, black iron subordinate, summoning gate, black iron subordinate, race talent. None, talent. None, equipment. None, skill. None, crystal coin. For, explosion rate 100%, S.level, LV.1, any loot that can be harvested in the corpse will be 100% explosive. Thinking that she had defeated 3 S.level talent owners in 2 days, Ning Jue suddenly realized why on the first day, the dog-head lord shouted in response to his orders, and the rest of the people ignored him. No matter whether it is useful at this stage or not, after all, I am also an S.level lord talent. I bow down and become small from the beginning, and no one can swallow this breath. The only F.level talent, Ning Jue, although didn't want to bow down and become petty, responded to the leader of the dog-headed man by calculating without intention, and directly defeated the leader of the dog-headed man. Otherwise, it feels like the first dog-headed person is indeed the most promising to unify the 5 lords. Chapter 8. It seems like I suddenly can play. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Returning to his own territory, Ning Jue and his soldiers were once again engaged in the hot construction work. In the blink of an eye, the task had already been completed ahead of schedule, so Ning Jue only used the summoning gate at 10 o'clock in the morning, leaving a rare day of leisure. Commanding the expansion of residential buildings, after all, 100 more people under his command need to be settled, and there will be a lot of new people added every day in the future. The construction of residential buildings must always be carried out. Place the 3rd summoning gate bonus stone on the summoning gate, and Ning Jue begins today's summoning. Summoning, ding, world fame 1, the number of summoners increased by 1 this time. Ding, the S.level talent Earth Star template is in effect. This time, 21 unknown minions are summoned, and no one is well known. Ding, Earth Star template experience plus 21. The treasure chest of living rewards is nothing more than a black iron treasure chest, which adds 10 points of experience to living gifts. After opening it, you receive a basic material gift package. Wood, stone, and metal were given 1,000 units of basic materials and stored in the newly built warehouse. Although there were enough basic supplies to upgrade the Lord's wooden house, Ning Jue only had 4 crystal coins in his hand, which made it impossible to upgrade the wooden house. Therefore, Ning Jue had to give up. A day passes by in a blink of an eye, and the voice of the origin of will rings at exactly 12 o'clock. The task time for Lord integration has passed. There are 45389456879 lords who have completed the task. There are 125489367 unclaimed lords. The lord who has not completed the task is about to be uniformly wiped out. The friends section has been unlocked. The world chat channel has been unlocked. The exchange has been unlocked. The original 10-day beginner protection phase will be reduced to 7 days due to certain reasons. Outside the Lord's territories, crimson or corroding monsters will be randomly refreshed. Monsters cannot enter territory. Killing monsters can drop various items. When the leader kills a monster, the leader gains 90% upgrade energy, and the leader can also gain 10% upgrade energy. All allied lords have a single-player teleportation array within their territory that can be teleported to any allied lord's territory. In the teleportation array, the lord also has an invincible effect. Once the lord's order is destroyed, the teleportation array will immediately disappear. After issuing the new instructions, Ning Jue analyzed the newly unlocked functions and found that the original intention was still more inclined to develop territories and accommodate more lords in order to enhance their status. And the teleportation array of the Alliance is also a form of protection, ensuring that the Lord cannot use the teleportation array to sneak attack the Alliance Lord, and will not be beheaded by other Alliance Lords due to personal danger. If a Lord wants to hide in the teleportation array and attempt to protect himself for a long time, he can be forced out by forcibly dismantling the Lord's order. Ning Jue summarized that whether it is between lords or between lords and native species of the place of origin, the will of origin has been explored in this explanation. It is estimated that more things can only be explored by the lords themselves. Shortly after summarizing, Ning Jue's snoring came from the lord's wooden house. The next day, Ning Jue woke up and pushed open the door of the lord's wooden house. I discovered that the originally light blue sky was now divided in half from the middle, with one side being a sticky blood red and the other being a murky dark purple. Yuan Chengdu walked from the side. Lord, there are many aggressive creatures outside the territory now, but they seem unable to break through the boundaries of the territory. Well, I know it all. Chengdu, how does their strength compare to yours? Report to the Lord that their strength is generally at the level of black iron, and Chengdu is not yet valued. Upon hearing Yuan Chengdu's confident answer, Chengdu, let's go and take me to take a look first. Ning Jue followed Yuan Chengdu to the edge of her territory and learned from Yuan Chengdu's words. Ning Jue's territory happens to be located at the boundary between the two colors in the sky. The monsters on the east and north sides of the territory are in the same camp, while the monsters on the west and south sides are in the same camp. Some of them will fight against each other. Ning Jue remembered yesterday's origin of willpower, which may have been the monsters of the corroded and scarlet camps, and her territory happened to be on the dividing line, naturally being attacked by two different monsters. Chengdu, first clean up the monsters around the territory, whether it's crimson or corroded, remember to bring the body back to me. Yes, Lord. After giving orders to Yuan Chengdu, Ning Jue opened the chat channel, which is now very lively. I now have Lord's talents at all levels of SABCD, do you have anyone who can be my junior now? Flame Lord, what are you, our alliance leader? You have a talent for dual S.level lords. Dragon Lord, the monsters outside are really scary. If it weren't for me running fast, I would have spent the rest of my life in a wheelchair. An unnamed F.level talent owner Lord, did the F.level Lord upstairs give up his talent? Lord of Hokage Village, monsters cannot be defeated. Find Shuyuan www.zhaoshuyuan.com. There seems to be a kingdom around me. Have you ever formed a group to run to the kingdom and become a commoner? Running Lord. As Ning Jue scrolled through chat videos, she felt her body becoming stronger and her mind becoming more active. It was only then that Yuan Chengdu was working hard to clear monsters, and he could also obtain a 10% upgrade energy. The energy entered his body, and he is now a subordinate of black iron, so his perception of energy is obvious. Ning Jue casually scrolled through the chat channel, watching the various messages they shared. Many lords had dual S.level talents, but those like herself with triple S.level talents did not encounter them. Moreover, Ning Jue felt that these people were not among the first lords to come to the place of origin. The king appearing on the chat channel is very likely to be someone who set foot in the place of origin and multiplied a long time ago. In the comprehensive chat channel, after struggling for 2 days, the starting point can be said to be not high. Upon thinking about it, Ning Jue suddenly became proficient in playing. Ning Jue thought that her territory had never been named, and after thinking for a long time, she filled in the word Ning Jue in the territory name. Thinking about coming to the so-called place of origin, all I do is not want to die, only want to live. It is difficult to guarantee that one day she will return to Earth Star. Ning Jue hopes to not forget her original intention, so she named her territory Ning Jue. Are you sure you want to change the territory name to Ning Jue Territory? Okay, Yuan Chengdu is very efficient. With his own skill in browsing chat channels, he has already brought people back. In a short while, a small mountain was built in front of Ning Jue's body. There were many corpses, but from a species perspective, there should only be 4 species. Chapter 9. Seems to discover linkages. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. Ning Jue estimated that there were 60 or 70 corpses, so she began to approach and observe. Ding, the burst rate of S.level talents is 100%. Purple Wild Lizard, Corpse, Bio Introduction. Monsters formed by the corrosive forces of their place of origin. Dropped items. 5.10 units of black iron subordinate lizard meat, 100%, 1 recruitment book for black iron subordinate archers, 100%, 1 transfer book for black iron subordinate archers, 100%, 5.10 crystal coins, 100%, ink poison centipede, corpse, bio introduction. Monsters formed by the corrosive forces of their place of origin. Dropped items. 3.6 units of black iron lower level centipede meat, 1 recruitment book for black iron lower level sword and shield soldiers, 100%, 1 transfer book for black iron lower level sword and shield soldiers, 100%, 5.10 crystal coins, 100%, draining mantis, corpse, bio introduction. Monsters formed by pollution from the crimson power of their place of origin. Dropped items. 3.5 units of black iron subordinate mantis meat, a small water source fragment, 100%, a small windbreak fragment, 100%, 5.10 crystal coins, 100%, ghost-faced red dog, corpse, bio introduction. Monsters formed by pollution from the crimson power of their place of origin. Dropped items. 6.15 units of black iron subordinate dog meat, a small piece of good field, 100%, a piece of summer flower garden, 100%, 5.10 crystal coins, 100%. After learning about the items dropped from the corpses of the 4 monsters, Ning Jue didn't hesitate much and started touching the corpses one by one. Ding, S.level talent has a 100% burst rate, drops items. 7 units of black iron subordinate lizard meat, 1 recruitment book for black iron subordinate archers, 1 transfer book for black iron subordinate archers, 7 crystal coins, talent experience +1. Ding, S.level talent has a 100% burst rate, triggering 10 units of black iron subordinate dog meat, a small good field fragment, a summer flower garden fragment, 6 crystal coins, talent experience +1. Ding, S.level talent has a 100% burst rate, drops items. 9 units of black iron subordinate lizard meat, 1 recruitment book for black iron subordinate archers, 1 transfer book for black iron subordinate archers, 8 crystal coins, talent experience +1. Ding, S.level talent has a 100% chance to trigger, with 4 units of black iron lower level praying mantis meat, a small water source fragment, a small windbreak forest fragment, and 8 crystal coins. Talent experience +1. There were 60 or 70 corpses, and too many things were exploding. Ning Jue asked Yuan Chengdu to return to the village in advance and asked Li Xingxing to bring people to tidy up the things. After Li Xingxing arrived, he looked at the piled-up items, his mouth wide open, and it took him a while to recover from surprise. "Lord, did you touch the corpse to find out all this?" "Yeah. Lord, you are really more powerful than a professional corpse picker. If you don't become a lord, being a professional corpse picker will definitely earn you more." Professional corpse handlers. Ning Jue is a bit curious about unfamiliar terms. Upon realizing Ning Jue's question, Li Xingxing explained that professional corpse handlers refer to a group of people in the place of origin who have a higher rare item explosion rate than others and are hired by others in the place of origin, gradually forming a profession. After listening to Li Xingxing's explanation, Ning Jue remembered that Li Xingxing was one of the few indigenous people in his own territory, and they had a better understanding of the place of origin than themselves. Faced with Li Xingxing's proposal, Ning Jue didn't answer, just smiled. After all, she relied on the Lord's talent and didn't want to talk to him in detail. Tell him to take everything back to the door of the Lord's wooden house, sort and put it away, and then give himself a list. Ning Jue instructed Yuan Chengdu to clear out the crimson and corroded monsters while ensuring their own safety, and to transport the bodies back as soon as possible after killing them. After Yuan Chengdu was ordered to leave, Ning Jue also returned to the Lord's wooden house, preparing to study various items she had dropped. Ning Jue returned to the Lord's wooden house, and Li Xingxing was also quick in his work. He had already placed the list on his desk. 448 crystal coins, 416 units of various meat, 14 recruitment books for Black Iron lower-level archers, 14 job transfer books for Black Iron lower-level archers, 18 recruitment books for Black Iron lower-level sword and shield soldiers, 18 job transfer books for Black Iron lower-level sword and shield soldiers, 16 small water source fragments, 16 small windbreak forest fragments, 16 small good field fragments, and 16 pieces of Sumeru flower garden fragments. With a wave of his hand, Ning Jue collected all the crystal coins, and his attributes also showed that he now had 452 crystal coins. The extra 4 were brought by Ning Jue himself and used to kill 3 lords. Item name: Small water source fragments. Item function: 10 small water source fragments can be used to synthesize a disposable water source. Ning Jue scanned the remaining 3, all of which were 10 fragments that could be combined into a small material point. After all, being in the desert, if the desert could be transformed, it would also be a great help for Ning Jue. The second thing that Ning Jue paid attention to was the recruitment book. I think the recruitment books for archers and shield soldiers should be roughly the same, so Ning Jue picked up one to understand its purpose. Item name: Recruitment book for Black Iron lower-level blade and shield soldiers. Item function: Can summon a Black Iron lower-level sword shield soldier in the summoning gate. Using the summoning gate to summon, Ning Jue happens to be experimenting with whether the 2 talents associated with the summoning gate can be linked together. Zhaoshuyuan.com. Finally, Ning Jue read the transfer letter for the archers. Item name: Black Iron lower-level bowman transfer letter. Item function: Can convert a subordinate leader to a Black Iron lower-level archer with archery skills. Thinking about the fact that there were many non-professional leaders under his command, Ning Jue also called for someone to work full-time. After all, he had 100-strong army under his command, so it was better to let his subordinates work in life-related professions unless it was necessary. Ning Jue, holding 30.2 summoning books, ran to the gate of summoning and first threw 10 into it. Ding, the S.level talent Earth Star template has taken effect. This time, 10 unknown minions will be summoned, and no one is well-known. Ding, Earth Star template experience plus 10. 10 fierce sword and shield soldiers emerged from the summoning gate. As the leader, there is still a treasure chest in his hand. Let the soldiers wait on the side first, and Ning Jue eagerly opened the treasure chest. Ding, the gift of S.level talent alive is effective. Ding, open the black iron level treasure chest. Ding, a living gift, experience plus 10, ding, obtain a basic resource pack. Ning Jue instructed the soldiers to stand by here first, and then began to speculate on their own thoughts. Although she didn't get anything good, this experiment confirmed Ning Jue's idea that her 3S.level talents have a synergistic effect. Ning Jue can trigger the Earth Star template and live rewards 5 times a day with a 100% chance to obtain resources and more Lord experience. And the explosion rate is 100%, in order to gain more Lord experience, it is probably to touch lower level, higher level or rarer corpses. This requires the use of Earth Star templates and rewards given by living rewards, in order to boost the explosion rate by 100%. Chapter 10. Upgrading. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. On the second attempt, Ning Jue threw the remaining 22 recruitment books directly into the summoning gate, and suddenly a force surged out of her body. Ding, you have been promoted to Black Iron Intermediate. Ning Jue felt a change in herself, and every cell in her body was full of energy. She clenched her fists and felt the flowing power in her body. It seems that many monsters have been killed in Chengdu, and there should be many corpses soon, Ning Jue thought to herself, as the summoning gate in front of her was also working. Ding, the S.level talent Earth Star template has taken effect. This time, 21 unknown minions will be summoned, making one person well known to everyone. Ding, Earth Star template experience plus 26. Woohoo, something good has come out this time. Let me be healthy soon. The long-lost familiarity also made Ning Jue feel good. In the gate of summoning, 12 archers and 5 sword and shield soldiers first emerged, and the last one appeared, dressed in a lock and loop turtleback armor with large leaves gathered into fish scales, and holding a gluttony pattern beast face double arc shield, highlighting his difference from other soldiers. Name: Guangziyuan, race: Earthlings, qualification: Gold Intermediate, lifestyle specialties: None, combat skills: Trapped camp knife technique, trapped camp army formation, trapped camp shield technique, talent: None, skills: Blood battle knife technique information, defense information army, strength: Black iron subordinate, loyalty. 80, Guangziyuan came out of the summoning gate, holding a treasure chest in his hand. Trapped veteran Guangziyuan, I have met the Lord. Ning Jue took the treasure chest from Guangziyuan and kept thinking about whether the name Guangziyuan existed in history, but she couldn't remember it. After thinking for a moment, he realized that the reason he was well known was because he was a soldier trapped in the camp. Feeling a bit helpless, Ning Jue eventually accepted this reality. After all, veteran soldiers trapped in the camp are definitely more powerful than new recruits. If there is a chance to summon Gao Shun in the future, it would be quite handsome to make Gao Shun's leader fall into the camp. Command Guangziyuan to lead the remaining 31 soldiers to rendezvous with you in Chengdu. Ning Jue opened the treasure chest in her hand. Ding, the gift of S.level talent alive is effective. Ding, open the black iron level treasure chest. Ding, a living gift, experience plus 10, ding, obtain a basic resource pack. Ah, 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 ah. Yuan Chengdu, who happened to be back, saw him and said, Lord, this is you. Ning Jue, who had returned to normal in just 1 second, said, I'm fine, I'm fine. I'm praying for blessings to open 2 basic resource packs. Ning Jue hurriedly found a reason, and in order to make Yuan Qingdu believe it, she also said, "Really, believe me." Yuan Qingdu, who was silent, was also a bit embarrassed. After all, he felt embarrassed to expose the Lord's mistake. But seeing the most authentic side of the Lord, my liking for him couldn't help but rise a bit. Ding, Yuan Qingdu loyalty +5, currently at 95. Although Yuan Qingdu's loyalty has increased, Ning Jue's heart is filled with despair. Lord, this is the corpse of the monster we just defeated. We have sent it to you now. Ning Jue estimated that there were already over 100 corpses. Lord, more than 100 soldiers, 1/5 of whom have been promoted to bronze level, and those from black iron have now been promoted to bronze level at least. Why did he take so long to reach the intermediate level of black iron, while the leaders were already bronze? Ning Jue didn't say anything, but still had doubts in her heart. Qingdu, you should have seen all 32 soldiers who passed by before. I will make them wait at the edge of the territory, and my subordinates will come first to deliver the Lord's body. I will now instruct Li Xingxing to build a makeshift camp for you to rest at the location where you enter and exit the territory. In the future, all you need to do is place the body there and send someone to tell Li Xingxing to find someone to transport it back. Thank you, Lord Xie, for your understanding, the soldiers under the last general's command. Yuan Qingdu knelt down on one knee and said. Ning Jue supported Yuan Qingdu with both hands and said, "You should rest for an hour first," and then set off. After Yuan Qingdu stood up, he bowed to Ning Jue and then slowly retreated with his people. The matter of using the basic resource package that was originally planned will be put aside for a while, but Ning Jue has started a new round of corpse searching. Unlike last time, it seems that Yuan Qingdu has killed a new monster called Black Xian Bug, which is a corrosive monster. The rest are roughly the same, except that the recruitment and job transfer books that have been released this time are the recruitment and job transfer books for black iron subordinates. Another new profession has been added, which can make the military more diverse, and Ning Jue is also quite happy. After all the corpses were touched, Ning Jue asked Li Xingxing to do statistics and ran aside to open 2 basic resource packages. Ding, do you want to open the basic resource package *2? Open, Ding, obtain 2,000 units of wood, 2,000 units of stone, and 2,000 units of metal. Before Li Xingxing could finish counting, he saw a pile of new resources appearing next to the Lord on the side. My Lord, what kind of chosen person are you? We haven't finished counting yet, and there are so many things popping up here. Li Xingxing had a happy but helpless expression on his face. I didn't expect it to come out all at once. Ning Jue felt a bit embarrassed as she looked around the mess she had made. After all, the place was all cleaned up by others, and she always made the environment messy. Looking at the scattered basic resources on the ground, Ning Jue had a sudden idea and ran straight to the Lord's wooden house. Zhaoshuyuan.com Upgrade Lord's wooden house. Ding, do you want to upgrade the Lord's wooden house? Upgrade, Ding, the Lord's wooden house has been upgraded to black iron intermediate level, and the conditions for the Liberation Summoning Gate have been upgraded. The territory has been expanded to 500 m times 500 m times 500 m. After the upgrade, the appearance of the Lord's wooden house did not change much, except that there were some missing wood, stone, and metal on the ground. Ning Jue first checked the properties of the Lord's wooden house. Building name. Lord's wooden house, building level. Black iron intermediate, architectural function. Providing a residence for the Lord and also serving as the storage location for the core territorial decree. Territory upgrade. 500 units of wood, 500 units of stone, 500 units of metal, and 500 crystal coins. After reading the attributes, without any hesitation, I continued to upgrade directly. Ding, do you want to upgrade the Lord's wooden house? Upgrade, Ding, the Lord's wooden house has been upgraded to the black iron level, and the conditions for the Liberation Summoning Gate have been upgraded. The territory has been expanded to 1000 m times 1000 m times 1000 m. After looking at the panel again, Ning Jue felt a bit regretful and couldn't upgrade again because she didn't have enough coins to upgrade. Building name. Lord's Wooden House, building level. Black Iron Superior, architectural function. Providing a residence for the Lord and also serving as the storage location for the core territorial decree. Territory upgrade. 1,000 units of wood, 1,000 units of stone, 1,000 units of metal, and 1,000 crystal coins. But Ning Jue believes that with the speed of Yuan Chengdu, he can definitely gather enough crystal coins today. If his luck is even worse, with 2 more black iron treasure chests, the summoning gate can also be upgraded.